And good morning to you, and welcome to the 30th Southwest Junior College Football Conference Football Media Day. Yes, we've been at it for 30 years, started in 1995. This is the 7th location where we've held our Media Day. Early ones were at Pennington Field in Bedford, Texas. So we're glad to be here in Bullard, Texas, to bring you this Media Day today. A special thanks to the Cardinal Sports Network for live streaming this event. We hope that you enjoy what you hear from our football coaches this season as we get ready for 2025 college football. We're at the end of July. Time moves by so quickly, and I know for these coaches, they're chomping at the bit to get on the field and start playing. So we will begin with Coach Ryan Mahon. He's the head coach of Blinn College.
All right, well, thank you all very much, and welcome, coaches. It's good to see y'all. The camaraderie we have in this league is quite amazing. Got a chance to visit with Coach Gooden and Coach T, just a Whataburger, and just catching up with, like fast friends. So it's really neat. Now, we'll compete like heck on Saturdays, but it's really nice to be able to just enjoy that. Want to talk a little bit about my team, but before I get there, I want to thank my administration, Dr. Hensley, our board, Coach Schumacher, my athletic director. They give us everything that we need to be successful, and it's great to go to work every single day. For the first time in my head coaching career, I returned my coaching staff from the previous year. Coach Coleman does a great job with our defense, along with Coach Clegg and Coach Cadu. I also have Coach Felton as my offensive line coach, and Coach Bramer, who helps me out with the receivers and quarterbacks. And then Coach Parsons, he's the one that keeps us all together. He keeps us all in line. I'll start on the offensive side of the football. Position that we lost, our starter was at quarterback, so we brought in 4 new ones. Ace Siebert's actually the one returner, but then we've got Nathan Lewis, who was brought in some experience, and then I've got 2 guys that come from great programs in Jack Emerson from Willis and Gunnar Nelson from Katy. A lot of wins under their belt, so there's going to be a bunch of competition there. Also, offensive line-wise, I returned Ace Bostic, Clayton Shupp, but then we've also ended up bringing in a bunch of freshmen, new faces. Really excited about that. In the receiving corps, Tracy James and Cedric Nash return, but that's a very deep deal, a deep position for us where we've added length and speed. I think it's going to be the fastest I've been at receiver in quite a long time, so very excited about that. The running backs are all brand new, but they set the tone. They'll set the tone in the weight room and on the field. They're a very excitable bunch. It's fun watching them go. Each has a little bit different they bring to the table, but they're all very, very talented. At tight end, Reed Robinson returns. He is actually making the transition from receiver to tight end. He's gained 25 pounds over the summer. Really, really looks good. But all 4 of those guys will contribute with Doucette, Fulton, and Schubert as well. Moving along to the defensive side of the ball, we'll go with defensive line. I've got 3 returning starters there. This is my deepest position by far. Coach Clegg, he's constantly recruiting defensive linemen. I think I'm sitting on 23 currently. So got a lot of experience, a lot of people be able to push each other, but very deep there. Defensively, with the DBs, I've got 8 returning sophomores, but we also added speed and length. Coach Coleman went out and made sure we did that. We're going to look very good coming off a bus. I don't know if they can play yet, but we're going to look good. And then linebacker, also a pretty deep position for us. Caden Baldwin's returning as well as Frederick Powell from Navasota. But we always feel that if we load up there, we're going to be okay. We can't get too many of them, just based on special teams, and just be able to fill that out. A shortfall I thought we had last year, it was in our kicking game. We lost too many close games because of it, in my opinion. So I went and got 3 kickers. So the emphasis for us is to make sure that we have competition at every single position. We've got 85 kids on campus currently. It's the most I've ever had in summer. And they're all going after it every single day. In fact, they're just now getting off the field running. So I can't wait to hear about them. I've loved every team I've ever coached, been a part of, okay? This team, they make you feel excited. It's one of those ones where you're happy to go to work every single day. You get a chance to coach them because they're so eager to be coached. They're so eager to be pushed, and they're just a joy. So that's all I've got on my team. Is there any questions? Yes, sir.
Connor Bostic, does he have a chance to play?
Yes, sir. He's probably going to start for me at center. He's from East Texas down here in Van. Yep. I'm very excited about him. Yes, that hurt. My in-laws are. But thankfully they moved to Magnolia. It's a lot shorter drive. This is the first time I've been to East Texas this summer. Anything else? All right, I appreciate y'all.
Thank you, Coach Mahan. Next, we'll hear from Cisco's head coach, Charlie Rizzio.
Setting the timer. Went about 6 minutes there, Coach, so I'm going to try not to do any longer than that. First off, I'd like to thank Dr. Anglin, our president, and Dr. Dodson, our AD. They do what they can to help us with what we need, and we pick up the rest, and we just solve problems. That's what Cisco is. That's what it more than likely always will be. No whining, no complaining. We say that to our kids. That means I can't whine or complain either. Last year was a really frustrating year. We didn't have an athletic trainer at all. I'm calling these guys, great guys, picking up their phone. We got away games. Hey, man, you know anybody that'll come tape some ankles for us? And we're very fortunate. It says a lot about the class of the coaches in this conference. But like anything else, no whining, no complaining. So I looked those kids in the eye and I said, you're going to have trainers. You're going to have trainers. I am going to get you trainers. And we walked out of that team meeting at the end of the season, and Coach Burnham, one of our assistant coaches, goes, oh, well, bleep, looks like you really got to do it now. And we're very, very fortunate. I mean, you can do a lot of stuff if you just don't spend any time sulking. We have 2 certified athletic trainers. They're amazing. Those are the 2 biggest recruits that we landed in this recruiting class. We're able to service our kids now. 119 kids we've had sign in, some or 2. We're finishing up week 3. I think it was week 3. And shoot, there ain't a single one of them quit, and ain't a single one of them behaved in a way that put me in a position to cut them. We still got 119. They do it our way. They've been told what our way is, and they understand what the work is. And our coaching staff does too. All of us up here, we're only as good as our assistant coaches. You got to do a lot, and football is like so low down on the list of priorities. And without my coaching staff, and I got to name them all, we'd struggle to get 11 guys lined up right. Coach Smith, our offensive line coach, co-OC, right-hand man, GA'd for me at Eastern New Mexico. Coach Burnham went from wide receivers when we lost Coach Tweehouse to a 4-year college job. Easy transition over. Coach Watt, I mean, I got 3 days on him. Like, I've only been in Cisco 3 days longer than him. Our D-line coach, he's a pit bull. He is loyal, and he works his butt off, and he loves those kids. And then now you get into, the new additions. We've got Coach McDonald. He started with us at running backs and tight ends. He played at SEMO. Now he's transitioned over to wide receivers with the shuffling. Coach Jeffers is going to be our running backs and tight ends coach. Not only do we not have any athletic trainers, we were also one coach short. Last year, we had an open position the whole season, and we have a full coaching staff now, so that's really exciting. And then, last but not least, a young man that I coached at Missouri Western, Cameron Langford. He's going to be our defensive backs coach. We lost our DBs coach to a high school position. We're very happy for him. In regards to what we do, how we do it, and what we have coming up. Dude, we get up every morning from the alarm clock's morning. We take the 5:15 up the hill. We lift weights. We go to breakfast. We go to class. Then we go sit in the library. We get our work done. Then we have a team meeting, and then we go run, 4 o'clock every day. Oh, coach, it's 102. Don't care. Run. Coach, it's 97. Don't care. Run. We're kicking balls off at noon and 1 o'clock. It's going to be really hot. So we're not going to be foolish and have our kids have to adjust to the heat on game day, right? And they embrace it. And they don't whine. They don't complain. They just do what we ask them to do because that's what we've communicated to them. And we're really, really excited. You've done a good job recruiting when you go into the weight room. Yesterday I went in there, and it was squat day, and I had to hit my PR set. And I looked around, and there wasn't a single rack that I could get the barbell off. Now, I'm 5'8" if I got boots on, okay? That's never happened since I've been at Cisco. I've always been able to find a rack that I could get a barbell off, okay? So I'm going to have a little extra kink in my neck this year a little bit, and that's really exciting because, I mean, there's a reason why guys my height don't go play on Saturdays on ESPN. Positionally, across the board, we feel we've not only increased our talent, our athleticism, ability to bend, accelerate, change direction, strike, all those things you look for, but the character of the young people on our roster. And it's because that's what we recruit to that. We tell them what it is. We don't hide anything. They come up on the campus. They see the hog trap. We got a hog trap outside my office by the grass practice field, okay? They know what it is when they're coming here. And now what happens is the transfers walk into a room and it's not divided. We first got here, there were 3 sets of eyes that had a standard. And that was myself, Coach Lee, and Coach Watt. And there were 80 sets of eyes that looked at us like we were crazy. And then after a semester, that 80, right, it goes kind of more like 60-40 in favor of looking at us like crazy, right? About 40% are on board with what we're saying. And, oh, shoot, the timer stopped. But now when a transfer walks in, it's kind of like, it's almost like 80-20. 80 are on board with what the standard is, and 20 are kind of like uncertain. So it's easier for a young person to look at a population and go, like, they're not cool. They're not doing it right. I'm going to go with the 80%. I don't know. We might win them all. Probably not. And it's, I mean, anytime we got a home game, it's, dude, 11 a.m. and on. If you want to kick it off at 10 a.m., I mean, we'll meet at 7 if somebody wants to play that early.
He's lying, 'cause I asked him to do that. I said Big Ten kickoff, and he said, nah, I can't do that.
I will. That is true. But I'm not passing the buck to my assistant coaches, but there was probably a reason logistically for that. But no, that's the reason, you know, and we try to service people that are coming to play us. We're trying to be mindful of their time and be considerate of their student athletes' time as well. When Coffeyville came down, I was like, how early do you want to kick this thing off? And he was like, ooh, I don't know, this time, that time. And then he woke, you know, as we got closer and he looked at the weather, he was good with it. And now he's reciprocating, and I think we're kicking off at 1 o'clock in Kansas for our week 1 game. It's all just, that's all it is, you know. I mean, you got a 4 or 5 hour bus ride. You play a game at 7 o'clock at night. That ain't no fun, you know, because then you got dirty jerseys and all that stuff, and we got to wash them. I mean, there's no reason why we should be up till 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning coaching junior college football. And that's my personal opinion. So long-winded answer. I want to get home. There's a short answer. Anything else? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Coach Rizio. Next in line, it's Willie Gooden, the head coach of the Kilgore College Rangers.
I'm not bringing my timer, so I'm gonna let you guys know that. First off, I'd like to thank, you know, all the people that's here, the hospitality here thus far. I know this is a brand new venue, but this here is nice, man. Anytime that we get a chance to come out here and put our conference and put what we do and our teams and talk about our teams within the media, it's always a great day, especially for all of these teams in our conference. Obviously, it's an overly competitive conference. You know, a couple of those guys already alluded to that, but I'm loving the venue. It's a little bit more spacious. We kind of got everything separated a little bit. I seem like I'm still sitting next to the same people I'm always sitting next to. But it's a great day for football, man, and we're right on the cusp of it, and I'm excited about it. I appreciate you guys, everybody here that's at the Eagles Bluff, you know, everybody that had a hand in the hospitality and making this happen today. We appreciate you guys. Secondly, I would like to thank our media department. Manny and Chris, they always do a great job. Feel like we have one of the best media guys over there. Looks pretty good. Excited about that. Everything looks very, very professional. Thank you guys for your continued support. Thirdly, I would like to thank our athletics department, you know, and I'm saying the entire department. It's kind of small over there where I'm at, so we all tend to fill in voids. Everybody supports everyone. I appreciate everybody that's a part of that, and also especially our fearless athletic director, Dr. Courtney Pruitt, and Coach Destiny Foster. They always make sure we got everything that we need, and we're on track to go wherever we need to go. And before I start talking about these Rangers, man, start talking about the Rangers and the season and all those different things, I want to take a little time and do something a little bit different. I want to go ahead and acknowledge a little bit of greatness and talk about some of the guys that were successful in 2024. So hats off to the Navarro Bulldogs and Coach Ryan Taylor on that championship. He stood right up here at that podium last year, and I remember because I was sitting right there. I was sitting right there to the right of him, and he said, you know what? We know what we got to do to get to the top of that mountain. And as we all know, there's no shortcuts to getting to the top of that mountain. Played well late, did a great job. I feel like his troops rallied around him, so congratulations on that Region 14 championship. Yes, sir. Also, the young bull. Got to go ahead and say it. Coach Tanner Jacobson. Right down the road, about 20 miles up the road. Guess what, man? Regular season champion. That's also hats off to you. Congratulations. And you got after the Rangers twice. Feel like that was a heck of a season. Good ball club. You guys showed resilience. You got played well late. Congratulations on 2 good ball clubs. Okay? Now I'm shutting it down. All right, now let's talk about these Rangers. Man, we feel like we knew we had a challenge. Put it like this. We knew we had a challenge coming off of the 23 season, transitioning into the 24 season. We knew we had a challenge. We were very, very optimistic about that challenge. We felt like we went out and we got what we needed to get. Needed some guys to step up in some huge roles and play some big roles. Unfortunately, it didn't kind of go as well as we thought it went. Wasn't a terrible season, but did not meet our expectations. So fell beneath our expectation again in 2024. But we felt like our turnover was a little bit lower than what it normally is. But this year, transitioning into 2025, we feel like our numbers are up. We feel like we returned some quality in both facets. I'm saying offensively and defensively. We returned a couple specialty guys. You guys know how important that is. You neglect them special teams, it can lose you some ball games. So we feel like we returned something in that unit as well. So I'm gonna dive a little bit deep into that. But before I dive into that, returning roughly 29 guys, from that actually cut their teeth in the 2024 season, we feel really, really good. We feel like that's going to be our foundation. Those guys are going to lead the charge for us in 2025. And then we felt like we added a nice mixture. We came in and brought in some quality transfers and midterm guys right there. Santa Claus was very, very grateful to us and dropped us off some nice Christmas gifts. So those guys started in December, which gave us a chance to get those guys to Kilgore to show them the Kilgore College way. Feel like we got those guys developed. And then now we felt like we signed I don't want to say overly talented, but a high-quality freshman class. And when I say freshman class, I'm saying young men that come in that's able to push the envelope right now. I mean, we all want to go out and get freshmen, and it's very, very important to develop. Very, very important to make sure you got your system set up and everybody understands the tradition and the way you do things. But it also says something about some freshmen that can come in and that transfer that you signed in December, or that guy that actually cut his teeth that year before, that they actually pushing the envelope and elevating the room, their freshman year. And I feel like we got some guys like that. So very, very excited about their freshman class as well. I'm not going to talk numbers in that fast, so I'll just let you kind of look and do your own research. But I'll dive into these returning guys that I'm alluding to. Offensively, like I said, 11 guys. We got Jordan Brown from Longview, Texas. We got Chris Bowman from Jefferson, Texas, a transfer from SFA. We got Jacoby Burns from Aldine. Jaherick Jones, transfer quarterback from Commerce, Summer Creek. Damian Martinez started 5-6 games for us at center. We're very, very excited about him. He's from Duncanville. Luke McMullen. Luke McMullen is an athlete from Jefferson. He's the one that kind of breaks he's one of them deceptive athletes. I'm going to just put it like that. And I'll let you do your own research. He's one of those deceptive athletes, man, and we're very, very excited about him. He can do multiple things, especially offensively. He can flat-out fly. He's one of the ones that we're looking forward to and have some high hopes and expectations for in 2025. Devontae Mosey, receiver from Jonesboro, transfer from La Tech. Excited about him. Chris Sellers, offensive lineman from from Richardson. Marcus Smith, a third-year guy. We really, really love Marcus Smith. Kind of got hurt his first year, so he's a third-year guy for us. Great leader, on and off the field, great student. He's one of the ones. He will be one of the ones that's a forefront guy for our program this year. Excited about him. Chase Tapp, offensive lineman, transfer from Tennessee State, and Laravian Wright. Laravian Wright, last but not least, that young man right there, he's one of the few. You know, whenever you do what we do, to have a freshman offensive lineman to be able to come in and start every game as a true freshman says a lot. I mean, that's very, very rare, especially, you know, I guess I've been at Kilgore College for 18 years. And you can count probably on one hand how many has actually started, I'm saying, every game. Young man started every game for us. So for him to be able to do that and feel like he dominated, got some high expectations for him, feel like he'll be one of the leaders and those guys that we can count on up front to be able to move the football and set that pocket. And that's what we have returning offensively, okay? Defensively, 15 guys. Got Elijah Blue, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Elijah, man, he turned down a couple of D1 offers to come back to, you know, to bet on himself again, to try to really, really push and maximize his potential from a recruiting standpoint, and to be able to come back and be one of the leaders in the 2025 season. So excited about Elijah Blue. Drew DeArmond, Arlington, transfer linebacker. Kareem Edmond, one of the returning starting defensive linemen, interior guys. Very, very excited about Kareem. Marquise Hill, transfer defensive lineman, could do a little bit of both. And if he would have listened to me, he'd have gained a little weight and played defensive tackle. You can't tell him he's not a tight end / defensive end. So he's one of the shorter ones. He can get it. He's overly athletic, but he can really wreak some havoc up front. That's Marquise Hill. Maury Holmes, excited about Maury Holmes. To me, in my opinion, overly athletic defensive back, can do a bunch. He's from Willis, Texas. You know, excited. Feel like he's going to be one of the playmakers for us in that back end. Scott Komodo, transfer linebacker from Abilene Christian. Deontay Murray, sophomore linebacker from Carthage. Kevin Pierce, third year nickel safety from Troop. Remington Roberts, sophomore linebacker from Fort Lauderdale. Chase Smith, second year guy, nickel safety from Longview. Hope Tita, transfer defensive end from Cisco. John Walls, transfer linebacker from Midwestern State. Kind of reminds you of John Cena a little bit. Josh Williams, transfer linebacker from Utah State. And then Kevon Wright, a big old transfer interior. And he can play a bit of the edge, defensive lineman from Manville. So those are the guys that actually, like I said, cut their teeth. Or those are the guys that we feel like are going to be a little bit more systematic to lead the charge for us. So guys we're going to lean on, especially early in the 2025 season. Last but not least, I talked a little bit about specialty. So we returned a couple special teams guys. You know, kicker punter, Anthony Monsivais, young man. He impressed us as a freshman. He can do a little bit of both. He's overly competitive. He always works at it. You know, we're very, very excited about him, expecting big things from him in 2025. And our deep snapper, Tracy Mola from Bryan, Texas. He's our deep snapper, but you can't tell him he's not a linebacker. He's one of them. He thinks he's really more. From the time that we recruited him and his dad, you know, they both, Coach, I'm telling you, he's a linebacker. He's regional qualifying powerlifting. I'm telling you, he can do it all, okay? You know, after year one, he's a deep snapper. But he's a good one. He's first team all conference. You know, his freshman year, man, we're excited about him, having him back. I think he's got the right mindset because once he snapped that football, he still want to go play the game the way the game's meant to be played. So excited about having Tracy Mola back. And that's pretty much, you know, those forefront guys or the guys that, like I said, we'll be leaning on for the 2025 season. You know, so looking forward to a overly competitive season, as it always is. You know, excited about the schedule in 2025. 5 home games. Go Rangers, you know. But when you think about, and you get excited about the schedule. You get excited, especially 5 home games. I mean, we're right here. We get to do our Ranger walk and do all the traditional stuff. We're right here at home. I'd rather play at 3 o'clock, too, rather than 1 o'clock. But, I mean, hey, 1 o'clock games, you get a chance, you got your whole day. But when you think about those 3 road trips, yeah, we got some road trips. We got to go all the way down to Brenham, down there behind the Bluebell factory, right? Then we got to travel all the way out there to Cisco. Yeah, so we got to go out there to Cisco. We all know that that's never fun. I don't care what time you play, you know. And then we got to go up to Roswell. So Got to go up there to Roswell, dodge the aliens, get up there and see if we can go up there and make sure you can maintain some kids' attention spans and mindsets. It's always a tough business trip to make. But more than that, like I said, looking forward to an overly competitive season. Know it's pretty hot out there, so wish you guys a healthy rest of your summer conditioning stuff. Wish you guys a very, very safe fall camp. And I kind of wish you guys good luck. You know what I mean by kind of. You got me? All right, go Rangers. Any questions?
I have a question about the schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Community Christian plays, there's a Community Christian playing y'all
Uh-huh.
and New Mexico Military. Is there like 2 clubs? Are they
I think it's like 4 of them. Yeah.
Are they from Louisiana?
Is you got one from Round Rock, you got one from Houston, you got one over in Louisiana, and I think it's another one somewhere. So I don't know all the particulars of all of them, but yeah, I do know that there's several.
Is that like a prep school?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Coach, is Forrest Body still on staff?
No comment. I didn't mean for it to get that quiet. Any other questions? Okay. Appreciate you guys.
All right, thank you, Coach Gooden. Next in line, well, you heard Coach Gooden say that Coach Taylor from Navarro College, defending regional champions. Coach Taylor, you're up.
All right, good to see everybody again. Thank you, Eagle Bluff, for putting on this event. I'd like to start off with thanking my coaching staff. Just like a lot of these guys said, man, they do all the dirty work. They're there every day, long hours. Coach G, Coach Crouch, Coach Gibson, Coach Chili, Coach Anderson's our new guy, and Coach Bird. Man, they're all very instrumental. I just can't thank them enough for what they do. I know they're back there going through workouts right now. Probably just finished up about an hour or so ago. I'd like to thank my AD, Michael Landers, our president, Dr. Fagan, and everybody back home. It's a wonderful place back there year in and year out for the support. I can't thank them enough. I think it's a very awesome place to work at every single day. We accomplished a good season last year, like Coach Gooden said, and I appreciate those kind words. But a lot of us know up here, that was last year. Our rosters change every single season. That's going to be the challenge of gelling this thing together. I will say our sophomore group, which consists of about 40 guys that were here with us in the fall, they came back for summer 1 on June the 3rd. They've been grinding every day. It's been a pleasure to go to work with them every single day this summer. We added all of our freshmen and our transfers in on July the 10th. So we're about 3 weeks deep into that right now. We got a good group, but we don't know yet. We'll know next Friday to begin with when we put the helmets on and kind of see where it goes. But, it's another mountain range to climb. I know it's going to be a competitive conference for us once again. Man, this is I'm a big advocate of what we do here. I believe that this is the toughest conference in this whole league. So I just, I have a ton of respect for these guys and, just what we do week in and week out. I will start with the defensive side of the ball. We have 6 starters returning. Really looking forward to these 2 guys at defensive end, Moses Matabuke and Tylon Garrett. They've had a great off season. They put on a lot of weight, and they've been pushing the iron in the weight room and, just really making their bodies better than how it was last fall. An outside linebacker, Cameron Penny, an inside linebacker, Aaron Bell. Our 2 secondary guys, safety J.P. Patterson and corner Travis Roman. I think all 6 of those guys are going to be really huge for us this fall. On offense, we kind of played 2 quarterbacks all season last year. Ryan Shackleton is returning. He turned down some opportunities to move on. He leads that group. He's a third-year guy. He redshirted. He plays a redshirt freshman last year. This is his 3rd year with us. Just a huge guy in our program. He's a mainstay on what we do. He understands our culture. He leads all of our player-ran practices. He's just, he's a great kid in our program. So I'm looking forward to seeing how he flourishes. And I really am looking forward to that quarterback room. I think it's a really, character-wise, it's a really awesome group to be with every single day. We're bringing 4 out of our 5 offensive linemen back. I think that's a strength. A Terry Thomas, a Carlos Betancourt, a Penny Massamia, and a Jason Eziati. That's going to be huge for us going forward. But the rest of our skill positions were all depleted after the season, so it's going to be a question mark on what we're going to do with that group. But I'm excited to see the jailness of it and just, to see where this thing goes. I will say this, special teams wise, we do bring back one guy. He's first team all conference, Jackson Cummings, our deep snapper. And other than that, it's going to be a big question mark. So I'll just, as I open up for questions after that.
Brendan McCowan, was he in the running for?
Yes, sir. He's with our third group right now.
And then Cummings from Chapel Hill, what does he mean? It's so important to have a good deep snapper.
Kind of like some other guys mentioned, our deep snapper thought he was a linebacker coming out of high school. He's solid. He's a grinder. He's a soldier. He's one of those guys that you just like to go to work with every single day. Just a quiet kid and goes about his business. But he's solid. He doesn't miss very much. I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Coach Taylor. Next, we'll hear from the head coach at New Mexico Military Institute, Coach Oliver Suko.
Just to echo everybody, very excited to be here. Thank you to Tyler for hosting this. Eagle Bluff, beautiful place. It's a thrill to always come to these things and catch up with these guys a little bit before we get into the meat of the schedule and the meat of what we're doing, in terms of the grindhouse mentality, in terms of all of our guys coming in. I want to thank, number one, our administration, just in terms of the support that they give us, General McBurnett, Colonel Tate, our commandant that oversees our students, our athletic director, Jose Barone, who's here with us today, our SAE director, Jeffrey Gunn, and then our trainers that take care of our guys, and John Carpenter and Grace Pinata. Those people do a lot of the things behind the scenes that that we are really appreciative of and have a lot of respect for. Next, I want to thank our coaching staff. I had to replace a couple guys on the offensive side of the ball, whole new offensive staff coming in, and really pleased with the direction that we're going there. Defensively, we returned both of our coaches on that side of the ball, and Jordan Wycliffe and Brock Watkins, our linebackers coach, and then they also split their special teams duties between the two of them. They do a phenomenal job with that, and really, really happy that those two guys are back. On the offensive side of the ball, went out and Coach Nelly Vasquez got a full-time position, at the 4-year level, and we're really excited about him moving on with that. So we went out, and I wanted to get somebody that was familiar with New Mexico Military Institute and the structure and what we have to do there, and found a great one in T.Y. Hendricks. He played there in early 2000s, the 2009, 2010 era, then went on and kind of did the whole scope of things, went to Division I, came back to New Mexico Military in a part-time role, stipend position, coached the wide receivers there in 2015, then moved back and went back to Dartmouth at the FCS level and coached there a couple of years, and then went down to Florida and was the head high school coach down there, which is where we snatched him out of. But really impressed with what he does on the offensive side of the ball. He blew me away just in terms of knowledge and everything like that in the interview process, and excited about the direction we're heading there. The other big-time addition was Aseli Finau, our offensive line coach. And Aseli kind of has a unique situation because he actually played for me, GA'd for me at Eastern New Mexico, and then had an opportunity to play on both sides of the ball there between two coaching staffs when he was at Eastern New Mexico. He's a young guy, but in terms of just knowledge, I'll catch him watching huddle tape from 2009. Just the guy loves football, and he lives and breathes it, and so it's really, really fun to watch that guy in terms of what he does. We've got two young guys that are going to be joining our staff as well. Everything kind of finalizing with that. But then the last two components of our staff that are huge, huge, huge are our strength guys, Danny Ford and Josh Beard. Those are the guys, and I'm a strength and conditioning meathead, not more as much. I don't lift as much as most of these guys up here. But in terms of those two guys and Danny and Josh, they turn everything over, and it's just one of the things that's fun to watch them with our guys in the weight room. And just as everybody knows, those strength guys spend as much or more time with your team. And so we've got two really good ones. We had a great group of players last year that were put in a unique situation just with my hiring coming in so late. And, I thought that they did a really good job with. And I'm as excited because while our record and everything like that wasn't indicative of what I think that we are, you know, it's one of the things that they embraced us and they embraced our culture and embraced what we were going to do. And they did a really good job of setting it up. And the freshmen that we've carried back over, and we returned a giant amount of players, and we played so many young guys last year that we have 47 guys from on the returning aspect of it with a ton of starting experience and a ton of playing experience. And those guys, just in what they've done, and it's not just with us because we are unique, you know, that they have an opportunity to grow as leaders as well in a very short amount of time. You know, and we have, you know, we have defensive linemen that were freshmen last year. They're going to be in what we refer to as regimental staff, which is like the top 8 students on campus, and they're the leaders of the other leaders. And, you know, we got a guy in there. We have, and then underneath him in terms of the officer structure, you know, there's 13 other guys that are going to be in officer positions inside the military institute. So that's one of the things that they've embraced the culture of what we're doing, and it's fun to watch. You know, I think the strength of our team coming back is going to be both on our fronts, and that's right where I want to be. In offensive line and defensive line, we've returned 3 of our 5 starting offensive linemen from last year, and you know, 2 of them are just outstanding in terms of leadership-wise and doing the things right, and the other one's the quiet guy, but he just goes out there and grinds every day. We return a 5-game starter in Jake South at quarterback. You know, really impressed with the way he's adapted to the new structure in the spring. In terms of the offensive systems, you know, picked it up, ran with it. We have a young redshirt running back that's going to, you know, have some opportunity to really prove himself, but he's a Katy, Texas guy, so we know that he knows football, you know, and coming in, and Romel Jordan. On the defensive side of the ball, going back to the offensive side of the ball, replace a really good receiving core, you know, and was really blessed to have those guys last year. You know, a lot of players that got a chance to go into the next level. And so that's going to be kind of the question mark there. And then our tight end position as well. We got some really good transfers coming in, you know, and freshman kids coming in to take over that spot in terms of the replacement of that tight end. On the defensive side of the ball, in my room specifically, I coach the defensive line as well. You know, really impressed. Number one, we returned everybody. So every guy that played for us last year comes back with the exception of Leon Mueller, who was our all-conference defensive end last year. But that, to me, is when we can return that situation with a lot of guys that were on fire. Now, the unique thing is because we have such a different base of guys because we recruit everywhere. You know, Europe, New Zealand, American Samoa, Hawaii. I've got guys from all kinds of different cultures and backgrounds. Some of them that last year was their first year playing football. You know, and one guy that I want to single out on that defensive line just because of his buy-in to American football and everything, and we refer to him as Tonga Pea, okay? He's our big nose guard that when he reported to us last year, he was 390 pounds, 6'5", 390. He was called him tiny, basically, when you looked at him. Over the course of the year, though, he has shrunk down. Now he's 330, and he's moving extremely nimble. Now, the thing about Tonga was that he grew up playing rugby since he was 4 years old, so he's a 309-pound guy. I will say this, the first time I ever saw him get into a 3-point stance, though, he looked like little giants. Everybody know what I'm talking about, like squatting down, never been in that stance. So it's just a unique situation with him, and now it's fun to watch the whole process with him because now as things have heated up for him recruiting-wise, you know, he's starting to kind of grasp the places that he can go. But another big one on the defensive line, Kurt Vakalani, okay, he's the guy that's in that regimental staff, so he's one of our big leaders on campus, brings everybody together, you know, and he's outstanding in terms of being around. Linebacker-wise, we got to replace everybody. Had a really good linebacking core last year. 3, you know, outstanding guys that are playing at the next level now. And then, you know, but we've got to replace that. And that's the nature of the beast now. You know, I'm talking to everybody up here. We're no different now than any 4-year college. You know, everybody's replacing everybody. I had a 4-year college coach sitting there with me the other day, and we're sitting there talking. He goes, man, I don't know how you do it. I said, how many guys you signed? You signed more than I did this year. You know, and it's just, that's the nature of the beast in college football now. But we're in a unique position in terms of we can push guys out, you know, and we're excited about the opportunity to go out, you know, as opposed to the portal and all those things. You know, there's not a lot of those guys that are helping those guys. So I think junior college football is in a great spot. DB-wise, we returned 2 guys that have significant, one's a starter, and then one other one that has significant playing time, Dalen Chichester, who was up to the top, you know, close to the conference leader and national leader in interceptions last year. Did an outstanding job for us in the spring. and look forward to what he can do. And then Jordan Grant, who played corner, okay, and was on a bunch of special teams for us, did great. New guys coming in, we got a huge crew. You know, when I took the job last year, we had 85 guys on the roster. I hadn't seen any of them, okay? I'm still the new guy in the room, but I'm sitting in a position now that at least I know I've seen every one of the guys that are going to be coming on campus. I've met them. I've talked to them. Last year, I didn't know anybody. I was telling Coach Jacobson, I'm showing up at the airport, and I'm going, I hope he's coming with us. Like, I hope he's coming over here. You know, and there was a couple of them, I was like, I hope he's not coming with us. But, you know, now in a situation where I'm sitting, you know, I feel really good about the crew that we got coming in. You know, like I said before, we're a mix of a bunch of different places, and it's fun to watch that old saying, the melting pot of a football team. Okay, we truly are, and we have so many different things that when those guys get together, it's really fun to watch them. I'm proud of our staff in terms of the way that they recruited. You know, we're still, it's a nonstop battle. It's one of those things that we're constantly doing. All of us are. You know, there's guys that we're still looking at and trying to get in and do whatever, and some of you guys may be set, but you know, it's fun to watch the new crew coming in. Bunch of New Mexico guys, which is what we're going to hang our hat on. You know, we're a local-based product. You know, everybody, I want you to come out to Roswell. I want it to be hot. I want it to, you know, play in a unique situation and see the pageantry of our core cadets and all those things, and get distracted and do all the things that we try to do. You know, there's no secret to that. But and the last thing I want to kind of round up with is, and coaches have talked about it, the parity of this conference is what I think is very unique. You know, I don't think that when we're looking at everybody, every single game that we're going to go out and we're going to play, you know, is going to be a battle. And that's an awesome situation. There is no bye weeks. There is no off weeks, you know, in terms of when we're playing somebody. You know, it's a fun thing to be a part of. And had some of the most fun that I've had coaching football, okay, in my life was last year. And I'm excited about the direction that we're headed. I'm excited about the people that are surrounding us. And you know, go Broncos. Any questions? He's from New Zealand, Auckland, New Zealand. Tonga Pea. P-A-E-A. Anybody else? Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much, Coach Sukup. Next in line, it's Zach Chrisup from Northeastern Oklahoma.
Good morning. First of all, I'm going to do my thanks. First guy I'm going to thank the good Lord for waking me up this morning, because getting to live another day I probably don't deserve. Next thing, I'm going to thank my beautiful wife, Stephanie, over here. She's always been my best supporter. I'm very excited that she's here with me today. And then I want to make sure I thank my administration, our president, Dr. Kyle Stafford, and our athletic director, Joe Renfro, for entrusting me to lead the Norsemen again. Also, big thanks to my players and my assistant coaches that are at home today, putting in a lot of work as we speak. Big thanks to all the coaches here, making the difference that they make every day in the lives of young men. Moving on to the 2025 Norsemen, kind of what we look like. For the first time, I believe, me being a head coach, I have a returning starting quarterback. So Carson Cooksey will be back leading us. I actually have two returning starter quarterbacks because I had two starters last year. But Carson Cooksey will be leading us. He had a really good freshman campaign, really excelled late. Had a great spring ball, really threw the ball well, really processes things fast. That's probably the best thing I've noticed with him, is how fast he processes going through his reads, and then his leadership abilities really picked up a lot this spring as well. With Coach Kelly taking over as our offensive coordinator, we look to build on a lot of things, especially in our run game from last year, but also to expand a little bit more into our passing game, and it's been going very, very well. Moving on with that, our second starting quarterback that will be returning is Ike Owens. Ike is actually making the move to tight end this year. Put on some good weight, been looking good in the weight room, and we're very excited to see him flourish at a new position there. Continuing with that position at tight end, a lot of young guys coming in, some tall ones that can run and catch, some big, strong ones that can block, and a couple guys can do both. So I'm very excited about the tight end room being coached by Jacob Reynolds. Moving on to the receiver room, it's kind of wide open right now. We've got a few returners, we've got a few transfers, We have a few freshmen coming in that are tall and can run. We got a few that can run, and then again, we got a few that can do both. So good group to see this fall during fall camp. Watch those guys compete. I'm pretty excited to watch those competitions play out in fall camp. Moving on to the offensive line, we really felt good after having a pretty good rushing year last year at running the ball about the offensive line. We had 3 true freshmen take 4-year offers and move on, so we've got some new faces, but we also had some guys with game experience for us last year that are still there, and we had a few guys redshirt that are still there, and they had a very impressive spring for us. I'm excited about the big guys. Watched them working out this summer has been great too. They're really getting stronger, getting in great shape, and we look forward to a lot of good things from that offensive line group. And then our running back room, we do return one of our starters there, Quantrell Walker. Quantrell was one of the top 10 leading rushers all time in Oklahoma high school football from Stillwater High School. He will be back for another season here with us this fall. We do have a couple transfers and some freshmen again coming in that can play. Moving over to the defensive side of the ball, I am excited a lot about the defensive line and the direction we're going underneath Anathan Gibson. Coach Gibson is going to be coaching our D-line, and we have a few returning starters. Roman Garcia, starting at one of our end spots, had a really good freshman campaign last year. Very strong kid. He came in when he was a freshman and found out he was going to redshirt on the football field and went over and wrestled for our wrestling coach. And Coach told me one day, he goes, he's one of our best guys, and it's not because he's a good wrestler. He's got a motor. And very excited about Roman. He's done some good things this offseason. Then Milton White is one of our other returning starters on the inside on our defensive line. Moving on to our linebackers, they're very similar to our receivers. It's going to be pretty wide open. We got a few returners, but we had some really good freshmen come in. I'm excited about some of the freshman guys, watching them run. Now, it's great to watch all these guys in T-shirts and shorts when everything starts happening when the pads go on, so we won't talk too much about the freshmen. Returners, as far as on the defensive back end, with Coach Warren being in his 3rd season with us, is really helping me a lot with the back end of the defense. And we have 3 returning starters. Jaden Swanson playing one of the corner spots. Aaron Edwards is our boundary side safety. He's doing a great job. He's about 6'3", probably 210. Really likes to hit. And, you know, that's something I love to see out of our safeties. And then Tavari Hampton is one of our safeties from Florida that played a lot and started a few games for us this past year as well. We're excited to see things from him. I think I covered everything. Do I got any questions?
I had a question about eligibility, because the college rules are so different. So if a student comes to JUCO, does he have 4 years at a D1 or D2, or how does that work?
I'm going to answer like the NCAA answers us every time we ask. You need to contact your compliance director. All right, thank you guys. Row North Row.
Thank you very much, Coach Chrisup. Now we'll hear from Sherrod Poteet, the head coach at Trinity Valley Community College.
All right. Well, thank you all for being here. It's always good we can get our staffs here to kind of head coaches here together. It's see these guys sit from across the sideline. But just, you know, what we do at this conference, you know, just kind of reiterating everything that these guys say. Like it's the toughest, you know, conference, I believe, in junior college football, and just appreciate what these guys do for the young men that's on their campuses. You know, I want to thank, first off, just my coaching staff that is off running, you know, workouts this morning and study halls and those type things. So just, you know, Blake Bryan, defensive coordinator, will actually be his 14th year with Trinity Valley with us. You know, from a defensive line coach to a linebackers coach to a special teams coordinator, and then running our defense, and does a great job for us over there with that. Coach Hunt will be actually, and I'm kind of blown away with this, seems like it's kind of flown by, of entering his 6th year with us. Kind of heads our special teams now, and running back coach and tight end coach. Josh Johnson, who I was fortunate enough to coach when he was a running back in 2010 for me, is now going into his 3rd season as our receivers coach. So it's good to have Coach Johnson with us. And then Kyrell Thompson is our defensive line coach, who played for us back in 16. and this will be his second season with us, Coach Thompson. Got a couple of first-year guys. Nate Hremza is our offensive line coach, joined us at spring break this year after our offensive line coach was able to go and get a high school job and those type things for him. But Nate, actually his second stint at Trinity Valley, Nate was our offensive line coach back in 2017, and before he kind of moved on as a full-time co-coordinator type deal up at Butler. And so we've kind of circled back, and Nate's joined us for a second stint. And then we added a young guy at spring break as well to coach our secondary, Donnell Warren McGee. He's young, he's vibrant, full of energy, just can't wait to learn. Like, he's a go-getter. He just finished playing a year ago, kind of has 1 year of coaching underneath him, and so he's really just kind of done a great job with our secondary this spring, and as we've gotten into things this summer. So I think he's a bright young guy that's got a future ahead of him, and I'm excited about what he becomes down the road. As we're giving up thanks, I just want to thank our president for always supporting us, Dr. Jason Morrison here. No matter if it's whatever we're doing, he's going to be around, he's going to be involved, and he's going to, expect us to be at the top of doing whatever we're doing. And so just appreciate the, kind of the bar that is set and what's expected at the Valley. So we're excited about having him here with us today. I'm really blessed at Trinity Valley. We've got the Cardinal Sports Network here streaming this thing live, which we have at all of our home games, some of our road games, whether it's softball, basketball, football, volleyball, soccer, graduations, those type things. They do a great job of taking care of all things Trinity Valley. I've got right here in front of us, we kind of got the legends table here, the media and coach and Benny. Just want to thank all the time and effort that Benny, our sports information director, does, and the time and effort that him and our media department and Jordan Kinney and the things that they do of putting together this thing year in and year out for us. Sitting to his left, we've got the head photography guru, Travis Tapley, that, just our kids love it. Our people around our area love it. They can go and get photos of themselves and those things, and just all the time and effort that Travis spends taking photos of the Cardinals. So appreciate his time. Football. We're really good at flag football right now, I think. It's July, so a lot of running and those type of things. I know everybody up here can't wait for August 1st to get here. We can actually finally put a helmet on and kind of start moving towards the football. We'll start on a defensive line here, just kind of returners. I've got a couple defensive ends returning, Tavian Atkinson and Z. Thomas. Tavian was a really good player for us this past season, was an all-conference player, was an All-American. So I think if we can get Tavian to repeat performance, we'll be sitting pretty on the defensive line. But just excited about him, of just a guy that has had some success as a freshman, but out there in the running at 6 a.m. and stuff, he's still trying to be the guy that's first. He's competing with a guy across from him. And so, when your really good players are really hard workers and they're competing, that's always a good thing for us, and kind of setting a standard there of he might be messing up, but he's going to be going at 100 miles per hour and not taking reps off. And so it's good to see Tavian continue to work. Move inside to the tackles. Josiah Ali is a returner that really has a really quick first step for us. I think he comes off the ball better than anybody else we got, and just if we can continue to keep him moving around that defensive line, hopefully he can continue to wreak havoc up there for our opposing offensive lines. A couple guys excited about maybe adding this year on the defensive line. Darian Blackshaw had a really good spring for us and has moving well right now. And then we added a guy from Alabama, Jarrell Brasher, was a Hutch transfer on the defensive line as well. So excited about what maybe they can do heading into the future for us this fall. Linebacker core, we got two guys returning that played a lot for us last year. PS3, Paul Singleton III. Just his leadership, he's a third-year guy for us, just really developed that that freshman year as he redshirted and played a lot for us last year, and really expecting a lot from him, just leadership from him, and then actually his roommate, LaXavier Amos, a guy from Waco. Those two guys are returning starters there at linebacker, and so excited about kind of their leadership and what they can do for that room. Right there kind of behind them guys with a little bit of experience from last year is Ja'Cory York and Donovan Malone. And then we've added some freshman linebackers that we're really, really excited about. Caden Slater, Miriam Scott, like those guys that can really move, play in space. Got let's see, Caden from Hightower and Miriam from West Orange Stark. So there's some guys there at the linebacker core that we feel like we're pretty deep at that position right now. Once again, we haven't hit anybody yet, and we'll see if that depth stays up. But secondary, moving back, Noah Baker was a starter for us last year in the back end, and we've added a transfer from Mizzou and Gerald Lacey. So with those two guys back there in the back end, excited about them at the safety position. And then if we move on down, we got some guys that can really run that we've added in the secondary. So I think that those guys can run. I think that they're competing right now on a daily basis, and there's a little bit of length to them. So right now, obviously in July, we're excited about what's happening in the back end of our defense. Move over to the offensive side. Offensive line, there's one. Right? We've got one guy back that was on our team last year on the offensive line. Had a lot of guys transfer and move on to a four-year level. So Jude's he's a warrior. We can move him inside, play both guard positions, play center for us. A coach's kid, just a tough young man. So excited about Jude. And then we just got to fill in with some new guys, some freshmen, some transfers on the edges of him, build around him with some length and some athleticism that we have. That's the big thing right now for us, is those guys just continuing to work together and build a little camaraderie there in that offensive line group. Receivers, got a few back and really excited about these guys. Kind of Lamar Kirby's a guy from Farmersville. I think the sky's the limit just on his potential, and was a young man that had a lot of offers and things in high school through the summer. As he got into the senior season, kind of came up with an injury, and all those things kind of fell off. And so he's a guy that kind of graduated early and was able to go through spring with us early and those type things. So Lamar, expecting big things out of Lamar Kirby this year, and returning starter Jermani Davis, a slot receiver from Louisiana. This will actually be his third year with us. Redshirted his first year, was a quarterback in high school, flipped to receiver, and has just done nothing but kind of get better. I think was our second leading receiver last year on the football team, Jermani Davis. And then just guys to really watch out, like Chauncey Hogg is a guy that's very explosive for us in the return game as a true freshman last year. Was our starter in the return game and got banged up and didn't really get to play a whole lot that freshman year. But now having him back, going through an off season, doing all that, going through the summer workouts. So if we can add Chauncey into that receiving core and that receiving group with some guys that we've added, some other newcomers that we've added. We got a guy by the name of Malik Jikalou from France that just goes to work. Big 6'2", 210-pound kind of receiver that just works, and just listens to everything you say. And is just like a sponge, soaking up all the coaching and teaching you give. And so expect big things out of him. We got another receiver at transfer from SMU, Jake Pivoto. Does a great job of out there right now, route running and just doing great hands and as a smart football player. Jamichael Davis, a guy from West Orange Stark, who we have a lot of high expectations for in that receiving core as well. So excited about what they may bring as the season progresses on. Tight ends right now, we're sitting there. We got 4 sitting there with us at the moment, and so we got a couple of guys back from last year. A guy that redshirted, a guy that played in a couple of games, but Jaden Hambrick is a Tyler kid that just got some length and just a kid that needed to grow and develop, and he's 6'6", and a half, and is finally, after a season of eating in the calf and hitting the weight room and then going to an off season eating those, putting those calories in and living in that weight room is finally starting to add some weight to him and looking like you projected him to look like. So kind of excited about what the future may hold for Jaden Hambrick. Running backs, that's the one spot we did not have a sophomore on the team a year ago. So we had all freshmen. So we got 3 guys back that all took reps and significant reps and carries for us in the game last year. Taj Wilson from Palestine, and we got Jamari Williams and Rayshawn King all had a lot of carries for us last year as freshmen. So having those 3 guys back, kind of excited about that. Added Diego Benson, a young man from Midlothian that went to Vanderbilt out of high school, and now we've kind of added him to that backfield as well, and he moves around well right now out there in T-shirt and shorts, and we'll see what happens when the pad comes on. Moving down to the specialist, got nobody back. Everybody, it's a free-for-all, it's competition. We're getting out there right now, whether it's place kicking off, punting. Multiple coaches have kind of talked about special teams so far, and so they know how important these guys are, and so we're getting after it right now of getting as many reps and things in as we can with those guys. And then it leaves us with our quarterbacks. Nobody's returning, no starters returning, that type deal, but do have a young man that's been with us. This will be his 3rd fall with us, Jaden Collins. So it's been good to have him kind of in the system the last couple years. Young man's got still, I think the ceiling is really high for him. Probably a 6'2", 6'3" kid that can really, really run, and has just done nothing but get better in the passing game as he's been with us from Crockett, Texas. So excited just of him continuing to compete. We added a couple of transfers, a little bit older, to kind of go out there and compete with him. Caden Brown is a transfer from Louisiana Tech. This year, he was a Midlothian Heritage quarterback, just a competitor, just kind of a coach's kid, kind of has a knack for the game. Took a transfer from McNeese and Jackson Latour, another guy that we actually recruited out of high school and then wound up signing with McNeese, and then we were able to get him to transfer in. So 2 transfers to kind of go with a 3rd-year guy. So there's really good competition going on this spring. And then really excited about our 2 high school kids. I think we kind of sought after and identified, and those were the 2 guys that we really liked and we wanted, and one of them is Jackson. Jeffrey Lefevre from Edinburgh. So we kind of went down south Texas to get him. Just another guy that threw for a ton of yards in high school through his career being a quarterback. So he's got a lot of high school game experience. Another coach's kid that he's just got a really good, calm presence about him in the pocket right now, the kind of things going on, and doesn't get in a hurry, and nothing really bothers him, and he's throwing the ball really well right now through the Skelly and through the one-on-ones and those type things. And then we got a state championship quarterback that we were able to sign down the road from Trinity Valley at Malakoff High School, Mike Jones. No who's. Okay, Mike Jones. So, but just a guy that, won a state championship, took him to another state championship game, just won a lot of football games, just a winner, a competitor. And so excited about that room right now, probably more excited about that room we've had in a few years. So hopefully somebody will come out of there and we'll have a great fall of 2025. That's pretty much all football. Questions? You know what? That's I am. Now, he may not be excited about it. But, I get to go to work with my kid every day, and you can't put a price tag on that. And I enjoy it. My wife's a little jealous right now in July, so I get to see him multiple times a day, whether it's running in the morning, whether it's heading to the field, whether it's in the weight room. And so she's got tons of questions at night because he doesn't want to answer her phone calls or text. And so I'm going to have to get him to start replying so that I don't get so many questions when I get home at night. But no, it's been good so far, but it's only been a few weeks. I'm sure at some point in time, I did call him the other day and say, hey, you want me to talk to you as dad or coach? And I said, all right, you get both. So it's been fun so far, and I am looking forward to it. Yep. Anybody else?
The guys from France,
Yeah, it's funny how just American football is kind of growing and everywhere. And so we actually have a defensive back from France. We actually have a receiver from France and an offensive lineman. So it's the game's growing. I mean, it's global. And they just, when I guys that's probably deal with other countries and probably that way with everybody's international. I mean, they're just soaking it up. They just coach me, coach. They just want to learn and take advantage of playing American football in college. Anybody else? All right, we'll go Cards.
Thank you, Coach Poteet. Our final coach that will be speaking this morning is Tanner Jacobson, the head coach at Tyler Junior College.
All right, I do realize I am the only thing keeping us from lunch over there, right? So, Coach Rizzio, if you want to start the clock, I'm going to make this quick. Just want to first start off by thanking Eagles Bluff. They've done an amazing job of being first-timers of this event. Really, really appreciative of all the effort to make that happen. Obvious shout-out to our president, Juan Mejia, for everything that he does, Dina Shepard, Tim Drain, Doug Wren, Michael Landers. You get the TJC shout-out also for all the work you put in for our conference. Appreciate you. And then just appreciation to all of you guys that help me every single day and also all the work that you guys put into this event. So thank you guys very much. Want to echo, what's been said about this league for a long time. This is the cream of the crop in terms of our level and our division. And I think this is maybe my first media day where there hasn't been a new coach in our league, right? So you talk about kind of turnover on our teams, and now an extension of that with first-time head coaches. I say it to my team basically every single time we have a team meeting. Every single team in this league is good enough to whoop us any week, and we have to fight, scratch, and claw to be able to win games. So, again, credit to these amazing coaches, developer of men. I've learned a lot from this group, so really appreciative and fortunate to be a part of such a great league, and to all those involved from administrators to officials and everything in between, making junior college football in our conference really, really the best in the whole country. Talking about our team, before I get into that, just an extension of the coaching staff. Again, have to give a great shout out to our strength and conditioning coach, Jake Carney. We have a wonderful relationship with Krista's mother, Francis, and all the things and the ways that they support us. So Jake's been getting after it. We've put in a lot of work, and Tim and Doug, they put in a lot of work to get us a new weight room, which has been huge, which I know some of you guys in this room have been in there, and it was due for a facelift for sure. And so the guys are excited. We had one guy walk in there and say, "Man, there's no reason not to get after it in here every single day. Now it looks like this." And so they're walking in there with a little bit more pep in their step, a little bit more drive, as they can feel and see from some of their teammates that some of their goals are just one step away from moving on to the 4-year and playing on ESPN, like as aforementioned. Again, turn 5 at TJC, and he is our special teams coordinator, and he does a great job. Stand up and be eloquent and well-spoken in front of a group like this, and then he can get after any of the boys that really need a little kick. I'll put it that way. Lonnie Johnson looks to return again. He's a tight end for us. SMU bounced back, really came on strong towards the end of the year. Really excited about his versatility. He always sneaks up on people with his linear speed. And then, from on there, kind of the story of our team this year is going to be our skill positions that have been developed from East Texas. So Ashton Haynes is coming back at running back. He started as a true freshman 2 years ago. Redshirted last year due to injury. Had a season-ending injury. So redshirted him last year. Excited for his physicality he brings to our football team. And then Montrell Wade, by way of Boston College, he looks to anchor that wide receiver room just from Tyler High right down the road. Excited about him. Moving on to the defense. Interior guys, we've got a big group of defensive linemen that rotated last year that looking to step in. We lost 7 defensive linemen to Division I schools from last year. So I think it's going to be a little bit of a revolving door or hockey sub the first 2 games when we're playing Dodge City and Snow College to get an idea of who we can really stick it with in terms of that room. Look again, big void with the linebackers, but looking to be replaced with some beast Texans over there with Jackson Styles from Athens, and then Day Ross from Chapel Hill. So a lot of homegrown talent on our skill positions, and then finishing off with our DBs, our secondary. Tyson Wilson from Gilmer looking to have a huge year, and then Willie Nelson. Yes, Willie Nelson, not the one you're thinking of, all right? A different Willie Nelson by way of Longview and Oklahoma State. I'm really excited about their versatility in terms of physicality, speed, and man coverage ability to be able to really anchor that secondary for us. Again, like everybody said, looking forward to a season moving forward. Nobody who played last year, unless they have eligibility, is going to do anything for us in terms of making plays on the field. These coaches aren't going to be making a whole lot of plays on the field either. So really, really excited to put the pads on, like everyone said, and get going day one. And I'll just go ahead and ask you, Phil, if you have a question, and before I extend it to everybody else. I am. I've had some text conversations from where I worked at before, and I do have some family that area, right? So it'll be fun. I'll have a lot of family at that game. We're trying to get a walkthrough at BYU, and so that'll be fun to go back to the alma mater and then see some people that I haven't seen for a long time, and give them an experience of what my playing days were like in college, and hopefully get an inside track to get some of those guys to be Cougars. We got one Apache that's a Cougar right now in Maury Bamba, who's starting at corner for them this year. And so I'm excited to hopefully get some more shameless plug to the Cougars there. Hey, is Lawton transfer? Emmanuel Lawton? Yeah. Yes, he is, from UTPB, University of Texas Permian Basin.
You mentioned Jackson Styles of Athens. He was a really gritty player in high school. What's your take on him?
Man, he is smart, versatile, really everything you want in a linebacker. You go back and watch his high school tape. There's just the first, I think, 2 minutes is just him playing Wildcat quarterback, right? There's not a lot of linebacker film, and so he was a guy that we were projecting to be at that position, how we play, and he's been awesome. He was a little shy at first, didn't really want to vocalize during redshirt year or anything like that, but he's really the guys have really rallied around him. His athleticism has always been there, and I'm excited for him to be a mainstay there in the middle of our defense for us. They do. I expect them to be on our travel squad. They've been, taking classes and running around this summer, looking really, really good. They were crazy productive in high school with the amount of tackles that they had. So, just another guys of local, 903 boys coming to TJC. So I'm excited for them as well. Anything else? Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much, Coach Jacobson. Want to ask the coaches if you'll stick around. There's going to
and then to all our media people, we've got radio here, we've got TV.